Coming up next, the guest list is brought to you by My Wedding Magazine, where the art of celebration is portrayed with the utmost beauty. Visit www.myweddingmag.co.nz or subscribe now in print or digitally so you don't miss a thing. The guest list is also supported by the Wedding Associates, hand-picked collection of the best venues and suppliers and hire plants. Whatever your purpose, hire plants have it covered.
Welcome to the guest list. On today's show, I have Anita Gatley will be reviewing an amazing resort in the Pacific. Great for your honeymoon or wedding. And Motat Museum will be on, showcasing amazing themed wedding packages. Joining me now is wedding travel specialist Anita Gatley. Anita, where in the world are we going to today?
Well, today, Nikki, we're going to go to the Nautilis in Rarotonga. And if anyone's been to Rarotonga recently, they would have noticed that there's a massive property that's been built. It's taken a long time, but just in October, they've opened up about 17 of the what will be 38 rooms of an amazing property. Absolutely stunning, right on pristine Murray Beach Lagoon. So it's the smallest luxury resort, and they're looking at around about a 4.5 star. When I saw it, it was still unfinished. I would say it's probably a 5-star.
Oh, wow.
It was just beautiful. They had, at that time, they had the infinity pool, and if you can think about an infinity pool, all you can see is the beautiful water, and then all you see is just continues off into the lagoon, which is just stunning. So white sandy beach, beautiful for your photos when you're having even family photos or wedding photos. Just a beautiful property. Jane and Paul, the owners, have Murray Beach Resort, which is right next door. It's their 3.5 star property, but they've really taken it up a notch with Nautilis, which is really just going to be one of the best resorts in Rarotonga. So 17 out of the 38 villas are finished, and they are just beautiful. Private junior suites. So they call them RAs. They've got some 2 and 3 bedroom ones, each with their own saltwater plunge pool. So real amazing. Island-inspired, luxurious and tropical interiors, all finished to the highest calibre. They've had to import a lot of things into Rarotonga, so it's all just done beautifully. Fully air-conditioned, sculptured private baths with aromatic natural toiletries, and a choice of absolute beachfront or garden view. So they're all the same, but it really just depends exactly where you want to be in the property. It's been architecturally designed, and in keeping with the natural environment, Jane and Paul are really into saving the environment. So just like Murray Beach Resort, they've tried to keep that in keeping with the new property as well. It's UV treated and filtered drinking water, and fully recycled systems, and an edible organic garden. The organic garden they try to use in their restaurant, all of the produce that they make, and the restaurant's been open for a little while and it's getting rave reviews. A massive big restaurant, because in Rarotonga they like to cater for a lot of the locals, and they encourage people from outside of the resort to come and eat in the resort.
That's really nice.
It is really nice, and so their guests would then go to other resorts as well. So they've created this massive big restaurant which has been getting rave reviews, beautiful food. Because they are a 4.5 star property, they do go the extra mile, so they offer a full concierge service.
Great.
So that means that they can organise anything it is that clients want. They can get people in to do hair and makeup for weddings, that sort of thing. They can organise photographers if families just want to go and have family photos on the beach, or they want to go kayaking and they want to have a guide that takes them out snorkeling. They can organise that sort of thing.
Fantastic.
And they do a kids concierge, which is the same sort of thing. It's basically the name of their kids club, but they also have a dedicated Polynesian spa, so people can have their beauty therapy done right on site as well. In regards to dining, it's exclusive, and it's a really impressive beachfront dining area. Beachfront patio dining is also an option that they can look over the pool, and it's just really beautiful. You know, people can go and have a nice candlelit dinner. They can have it down on the lagoon. They can have it sitting in the garden. There will be a little bit of construction going on over the next few years, but they're obviously going to keep that to a minimum and impact their guests as least as they can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about weddings.
They have a wedding planner on site, and they have wedding packages. So once again, they can organise something small up to a big wedding. And I think what Nautilis is really going to lend itself well to is using both properties. So people can stay at Murray Beach Resort, which is a little bit cheaper, so people that don't want to pay a lot of money, or they can stay at the Nautilis. And to be honest, $650 a night is the lead-in room night, which is really affordable.
Absolutely.
And if we get a big enough wedding group, we can get negotiated rates, so we can often get that down anyway.
Fantastic.
It's just something to be mindful that for people that do want to have big weddings, they've got the facilities there.
Brilliant.
All on
Sounds
site.
great. Now, you mentioned the little splash pools. Is there a big communal pool too?
They have a big infinity pool, and the infinity pool looks right out over the Murray Lagoon. Stunning, absolutely gorgeous area. Right next to the restaurant, so that can cater well for people that want to have dining around the pool as well.
Fantastic. What other facilities are on site in forms of activities?
They have kayaks, they do snorkeling, so literally the Murray Lagoon is there. Plus, if you wanted to go and get a couple of scooters or you wanted to get some car rental, they can organise all of that for you as well.
Great.
One of the things that the guys could do is maybe try their hand at game fishing.
Ooh, fun.
So they can be taken out, obviously go and catch their fish of the day and then bring it back, and the chef will prepare it for dinner for the group. Wouldn't that be awesome? And another thing that the Nautilis do as well is that they have private indigenous food and medicinal plant safaris. So they take people out into the rainforest and they can find all the unique flora and fauna that's around Rarotonga.
That's something really different, isn't it?
So something maybe that the guys want to do, or maybe if girls are back at the hotel having their spa treatments, guys can go and do something a little bit different. Kids would love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Anita. If you've missed any of our past episodes, don't forget you can hop onto our website or our Facebook page and catch up with all those past episodes. After the break, Motat Museum showcasing amazing themed wedding packages.
Something missing in your scape? Hire Plants specialise in plantscapes with purpose for a wide range of events, weddings, expos and film shoots. Our knowledge, experience and range make it easy to enhance your venue. Ivy balls and buxus, palms and natives, indoor and outdoor. Hire Plants offer easy access, delivery, installation and pickup. Whatever your purpose, Hire Plants have it covered.
The Guest List is brought to you by My Wedding Magazine, where the art of celebration is portrayed with the utmost beauty. Visit www.myweddingmag.co.nz or subscribe now in print or digitally so you don't miss a thing. The Guest List is also supported by the Wedding Associates, hand-picked collection of the best venues and suppliers, and hire plants. Whatever your purpose, hire plants have it covered.
I'm now joined by Danielle from Motat. Danielle, welcome.
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks for having me in.
Absolute pleasure. Now let's talk about Motat as a venue for weddings or an event. Who would have thought?
I know, it's an absolutely amazing venue and it's really versatile.
So first of all, Motat, the museum.
Yeah, we're the Museum of Transport and Technology. We're based in Western Springs in Auckland, and it's an absolutely lovely precinct. We're based across 2 sites, and in between us we have the Western Springs Park and the zoo.
And I think most people would never consider it for a venue, certainly for an event, and definitely not for a wedding, and yet it is fantastic.
It is, and I think, you know, if you look back at the 50 years of history that Motat has, over that time there were a lot of weddings that were held, and it's something that has tapered off, and in recent years we're looking to go and start this up again and offering that unique environment for both weddings as well as major functions over at our aviation display hall.
Now you've got several sites within the precinct where
Yes.
people can actually hold a wedding or event, don't you?
Yes, we do. So it can be from something which is really small and intimate. We have a beautiful chapel that's actually on site that people can go in and use. We have lots of different Victorian village areas, as well as we have lawns across from our heritage cottage, and then we also have our aviation display hall, which can do the really large numbers, up to 400 for seated or 800 for a standing cocktail party.
Now that's a substantial number.
It is, and I think it's just a matter of doing something, no matter what you're looking for, whether it be something quite small to the really large functions, we can cover it all.
That's brilliant. Now I love the idea of the little chapel for ceremonies. That sounds really cute. And I love the idea that guests could even then hop on the tram and move to different areas.
Absolutely. So the chapel itself is within our Victorian village, and it is a prime example of what a Victorian era chapel is like. It was actually built in 1898 and it moved into the Motat site in 1974, so just 10 years after we opened. Motat is home to over 20 different trams which have been restored and they operate, and they range from the traditional Auckland trams from early 1900s through to, we have a beautiful double-decker tram which came up from Wellington.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and so we can actually transport our guests within that main site in the village, or else we can take them from one site on a lovely tram ride and have a glass of champagne on the way while they go over to the aviation display hall.
That is so cool.
It is. It's
And
something
then-
unique.
Yeah, and in that historical little village area as well, there's that beautiful lawn, so people could have canapes and drinks on that lawn area as well.
Absolutely. So if, for instance, your wedding is a little bit larger than what our chapel can hold, you can actually have a ceremony out on that lawn, as well as you can have Raj tents come through and actually put up a beautiful bespoke Moroccan tent and have your wedding ceremony and reception there.
Fantastic. And also I like the idea in that lawn area, if you wanted to do something after your ceremony, you could have lawn games, and you could go quite historic with some of the
You
things you wanted to
can.
do.
There were some really lovely little Victorian games, so playing quoits or anything else like that. We also have an option of having our penny farthing rider come and ride through if you want to go really vintage. And actually celebrate that heritage. So he looks really unique. He gets all dressed up in costume, and it just really sets the scene.
That is so cool. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the big, is it the aviation hall?
Yes, the Aviation Display Hall. It opened in 2011 and it's won a huge number of architectural awards. It's an absolutely beautiful building, and inside it's home to over 35 historic aircraft. And so it's the only one of this, it's the only venue of this kind in New Zealand. with that amount of aircraft within it, as well as it's got some very significant aircraft in there. It's got New Zealand's only Lancaster bomber, and for those history buffs out there, it's got the only solent flying boat that's left in the world.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so if you've got people who are really interested in history or aviation, this is definitely the venue for it. And also it can be themed to fit a huge number of different themes. So it transforms from a museum into an amazing, fully themed event space.
Fantastic. And as you mentioned, you can get some great volume in forms of guest numbers in there.
Absolutely. It's a very, very versatile space. So say you have, for instance, a smaller party and you want to only have 80 guests, we can actually move and group those planes further inwards to create a more intimate dining venue for you. Or if you have a really large party that's coming in, we can actually go and move some of the aircraft out onto the periphery and have it so we can fit in up to 800 people. So
that is absolutely brilliant.
It is, and it's because it's so versatile that it is such a great option for so many different people.
Now, when somebody looks at Motat as a venue, they're not just getting the space, but you actually do have all the other facilities like catering and all the support structure that goes with that?
We do. We have an on-site events manager who will actually work with the client, who goes and helps them go and decide what they'd like, how they'd like to have their tables set out, and works across all of the other vendors we work with. We have 3 preferred caterers who work with Motat, and those caterers know our site intimately, and so it just means that it's completely stress-free. And then we have other preferred suppliers who we can also go and recommend and work closely with to make sure that the event runs really smoothly.
That's fantastic, and it's so important, especially for a bride. She wants the sort of she wants to know that everything is going to be stress-free and seamless. She doesn't want the hassle of wondering if things are going to go wrong.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, having that event manager who's actually part of the Motat team, who knows the site, who is a professional, and who also works across all of those suppliers, they know what the site is capable of, and they know how to go and make the smallest things possible for a bride.
Danielle, I imagine that Motat must have the most amazing photo ops for brides and grooms.
We absolutely do, and whether it is actually having photos taken within the Motat grounds in the village, or if they want to go all out and have photos taken with some of our trams or trains or cars, we have the lot. And so we can actually go and include that as part of a wedding package if someone's actually having their wedding there, or we can do it separately and you can pay a wedding photography site fee and have full range and someone to help facilitate all your requests for your photography. And it's just, if you're having a vintage style wedding, what more could you ask?
Oh, I can just imagine.
Yeah.
And I believe you have Waitakere Station there?
Yeah, so this was the original train station from out at Waitakere Station, and we can actually go and have either photos taken there as a backdrop, which looks really unique, it's very old-timey style, or else you can have a function set up on the deck outside of the station area.
How cool is that? It's amazing.
It's amazing.
What are some of the cool themes that you've had take place there?
So we have a lot of great themes which have been put in place in our aviation display hall. You can have anything from the Great Gatsby through to Pan Am. That space just lends itself to those kind of themes so well, and it's just you don't need to do a lot because the aircraft are already there. It's already almost in theme. It's just adding in little bit of costume for your hosts and perhaps your band as well, so having a band who actually fits in. We've also had it done in a military style mess environment, so actually having, you know, long group tables, and how we could fit 650 seated dining in that kind of environment, and everyone got dressed up and it's just the most amazing time. People go all out and just really experience it.
I can just imagine. People love dressing up for a party anyway.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Danielle, how does a couple get hold of you? Because I think that this is just such a unique and different kind of space that it's very, very exciting.
Oh, well, that's great to hear. If anyone wants to find out more information about weddings or events at Motat, they just need to go out to our website and have a look. All of the information is there, as well as contact forms for getting in touch with our event managers.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in and having a chat with me today.
Thank you for having me.
I've been talking to Danielle from Motat. Don't forget, if you've missed any of our past episodes, you can hop onto our website or our Facebook page to catch up. I'll see you after the break.
Something missing in your scape? Hire Plants specialise in plantscapes with purpose for a wide range of events, weddings, expos and film shoots. Our knowledge, experience and range make it easy to enhance your venue. Ivy balls and buxus, palms and natives, indoor and outdoor. Hire Plants offer easy access, delivery, installation and pickup. Whatever your purpose, Hire Plants have it covered.
The guest list is brought to you by My Wedding Magazine, where the art of celebration is portrayed with the utmost beauty. Visit www.myweddingmag.co.nz or subscribe now in print or digitally so you don't miss a thing. The guest list is also supported by the Wedding Associates, hand-picked collection of the best venues and suppliers, and Hire Plants. Whatever your purpose, Hire Plants have it covered.
Hi, I'm Nicky Luis and welcome to the guest list. Now, as a wedding planner with many, many years of experience under my belt, I'm always asked about wedding budgets. And there's no getting around it. A wedding budget is not an easy thing to put together, and it's not a very nice thing to put together. But one of those things is you cannot cheat on a budget. There are lots of templates online that you can go and have a look for. You can search for them and you can use them. Alternatively, create an Excel spreadsheet, but don't keep it up in your head. You need to write it down. Most of the time, you are looking at two different types of costs when it comes to your wedding. You've got fixed costs and you have variable costs. So fixed costs are things that will not change, doesn't matter how many guests that you have at your wedding. So a fixed cost is something like your wedding dress, your photographer, your marriage license. All of those costs will remain the same. It does not matter whether you have 10 guests or whether you have 100 guests at your wedding. Your variable costs, they change depending on the number of guests that you have at the wedding. So a variable cost will be your food, your favors, your invitations, your centerpieces. It is really, really important that you have a good handle and a good grasp of the costs per person, because the more people you have, the more expensive it's going to be. And some people don't understand that. They don't understand that if you add an extra 10 people, the impact that it actually has on that budget, because not only you've got the cost per person in forms of the food and the alcohol, but you're looking at an extra invitation. You're actually looking at an extra centerpiece. You extra chair covers, and all of those are huge extra costs in the overall scheme of things. So it is really important to have a very, very good understanding of what the cost per person is. And if you can cut 10, 20 or 30 people off your guest list, you can save a substantial amount on your wedding budget. So get a good grasp on your wedding budget, understand what your costs are, don't cheat. Put all the little expenses in. And people forget about things like the stamps that they need to buy for their invitations. They forget about earrings. They forget about the travel that they need to take when they go and visit the venue that might be just 50 or 100 kilometers outside of the area which they live in. It's all of those additional expenses that they get to factor into their wedding budget, but they wouldn't normally have had to incur. And that is what blows the budget every single time, because it's all the extra 20, 50 or $100 that they've spent, and they can't understand why all of a sudden their budget's gone by $2,000 or even more sometimes. So get a handle on it, don't cheat, don't put it on the credit card, save wisely. I'll see you next time. I'm Nicky Luis.
The Guest List studio set is supplied by Hire Plans.
The Guest List is brought to you by My Wedding Magazine, where the art of celebration is portrayed with the utmost beauty. Visit www.myweddingmag.co.nz or subscribe now in print or digitally so you don't miss a thing. The Guest List is also supported by the Wedding Associates, hand-picked collection of the best venues and suppliers, and Hire Plants. Whatever your purpose, Hire Plants have it covered.